Welcome to today's episode of the AI Trailblazer podcast. Today we have a very exciting guest. She is none other than Serena, the co-founder and CEO at Fuzzy AI. So for those of you who are just joining the podcast today, we are Convert Inbox and we help B2B software companies grow their business and revenue. So if that's of interest, just drop us the word growth in the DMs below as well. So without further ado, Serena, let's start off with yourself. What's your background and what led you to start Fuzzy AI?
My background. Okay, so hi, I'm Serena, founder of Fuzzy AI. My background, pretty long one. I studied IT and finance in uni. Did a double degree. Was very lucky. Had my first job at IBM when I was 19 years old. Got an internship there, and through IBM, I actually ended up staying for a little bit. Had fantastic opportunities to travel and go across the world. If you can't tell, like I'm Australian, so started off my career in Melbourne. Went to the US. I was very lucky to go to China, Singapore, and India, which is where I fell in love with Singapore, and now I'm living here as well. From there, after IBM, was very lucky, was able to work at a bank to look after their transformation team. But I always knew that I wanted to build a startup. I've probably built little businesses here and there, since I was like 18, actually probably even younger than that, but formal businesses since 10 years ago. And but I actually, every time I've tried to build it, I've realized I didn't have the right skills along the way to build it. And so failed probably 10 or more businesses, but learned a lot there. And then after my bank experience, I finally had some money saved up, and I was like, you know what, now I can go on this full time. Tried about 6 months of doing this full time myself, or a startup myself. Realized it was really hard. Didn't have the right connections, didn't know the right context. And so, okay, I'm very good at scaling, which is like the 1 to 100 bit, or the 10 to 100, but I'm not very good at the startup phase, which is the scrappy trying to build things. And so the next 3 years decided to work for different size startups. And I was very intentional of working on different size startups, but also product roles, because I don't know if this is still the ethos now, but at least back then, is if you want to be a really great CEOs, you have to be a really great product person. And so in the next 3 years, did different roles in the customer experience side and product side for a 10-person startup, then a 50-person startup, and then the last one was a 200-person startup, and all of them raised quite a bit of money. So the first startup raised 1.6, second startup raised 6 mil, and then the third startup I was part of raised 89 mil. So I was very lucky to be part of that journey, all in product roles. And then after that last role, I was like, you know what? I finally feel ready to like build my own startup. And so uh, so fast now. 2 years ago, decided to leave that and then not look for another job and focus and build a startup. Bit funny, my startup journey. I'm actually not a salesperson, even though I'm building a sales product. But I think naturally, I've always really been very curious about the human mind, and I've always been in roles where I'm talking to customers because I was a consultant as well. And so the first startup I built was an edge AI platform, which is very technical. It was pretty much AI deployment on hardware devices. And the second one was GPU acceleration. But one of the things I found that I was pretty good at was, one, getting meetings, but two, all the tools out there were very clunky. So for all you salespeople out there, I'm sure you know the configuration is normally the most hardest bit, and you normally have to use 4, 5, 6 different tools to get to just the meeting. And I kind of like waited for a little bit, hoping that the tools that I was using was building the tool that I wanted, and it never did. And so one day I decided, what if I were to build this myself? And we just did a design, showed a few people, and literally on that day, people were like, can I pay for it? After that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to move all the business and everything I have. And luckily, my investors were I think they're supportive to this new product. And yeah, I've been working on this product for the past year now. And it's been a really great journey, and I really enjoy the new space I'm in. And for context, what Fuzzy does is we are a platform that helps you book more meetings, and we're focusing on top of funnel. So two things. First thing is we help you use social selling. We're seeing now companies care more about authenticity and the person. And the second thing that we do is hyper personalization through email and LinkedIn at scale.
Okay, thanks for sharing this very interesting background that you have, experiences with many startups before you decided to start your own one. So for the audience, maybe you could go a little bit deeper into what kind of problems does Fuzzy AI solve exactly, and what target audience does it help?
So one of the things that we've found for B2B businesses, getting the first meeting is quite hard with the right stakeholders. So actually there's two elements of that. Getting the meeting is hard, and making sure you have the right people is also very hard. And the reason for that is we have lots of spam, a lot of people are messaging left, right, and center, and it's not really catered to who we are. So a lot of enterprises spend millions of dollars trying to solve this problem, and everyone solves it differently, right? You could go marketing, you can go outbound, you could do cold calling. There's so many different approaches. And when I looked at the tools out there, it was built for go to market engineers, which means that these people generally are very good at configuring, and which means why you're now helping these people to configure all these different things to be able to get to the outcome. But if you think about the best salespeople, right? Generally they don't really like technology, and it's something that's quite overwhelming for them, but that's fine because that's their skill set. And so what I'm trying to build is something that can takes care of all the hard stuff through our AI and automation, but it focuses on the high touch points, which is the nuances of every day when you're talking to your customers. What are the pain points that you're solving for the customer? What are the offline conversations that you're missing? And so what we're trying to do with our product is, how do you become a salesperson's best friend to ingest all the right relevant pieces of information to actually send personalized outbound, but also create a relationship with your customer so that you increase your chances of conversion of getting a meeting. And so
Okay,
everything
makes
that we do
sense.
of social selling and then hyper personalized outbound. And so another thing I forgot to say, we're just building every week, but one of the other things that we're now seeing as a trend or industry trend is you actually need to build a relationship with before you even start like sending the messages. So being able to like people's posts or comment on people's posts, and being able to do all of that is just as important now than just sending a message, because you want to build a relationship with them before you even like ask for a meeting. And our product does all of that.
Interesting. So it basically allows them to personalize at scale with AI to build these social relationships before you even try to sell them. Okay, now
Yeah, part
Serena,
of
can
it.
you also share?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that's
go ahead.
part that's part of it. The other thing we do is we help you build your audience and your brand on LinkedIn. So how do you like re-engage your audience and work with your audience and also engage with other people's audience? So that's like the social selling part.
Okay, got it. Now, Serena, can you share more a bit about your role within Fuzzy AI as well, and how it fits into the bigger picture there?
Ooh, it's so tricky because I think we're still early stage. So I think with my role, I kind of have to do everything. I on a day-to-day basis, I have to focus on sales, I have to focus on marketing, I focus on even product. I'm even writing a lot of the like the requirements behind the scenes. I'm doing the business logic. Pretty much besides for the actual, and I do some of the coding as well actually, but I try to leave that for my CTO to do and my engineers. Kind of have to do everything just because being the early stage, you have to be able to do all of that, and then also write the right playbook so that your team can actually follow it as well. Um, yeah, I don't know if I answered that question properly, but at the moment, literally everything under the sun: product, marketing, sales, operations, design, writing playbooks, yeah, everything.
Yeah, sort of everything under the sun.
Yeah.
So for Fuzzy AI, where do you want to be like 6 to 12 months from now? What is the goal of the company?
Yeah. So, what we want to do, our whole goal is to help companies get more meetings booked and with the right people as well, because you don't want to end up selling something that's not valuable and not useful. And so, 6 to 12 months from now, where we see is we are a tool that helps every single salesperson. They use it, every day or every 2 days to help them get to where they want. And what they essentially can do is talk to Fuzzy, be like, hey, these are the things that I've seen. Can you help me implement it? And we'll do it everything for you using AI agents and automation. So, pretty much wanting to be a salesperson's best friend, so that we can help them, one, personalize at scale the way they want, two, write the way they want on LinkedIn, and three, be a buddy so that people can be better at what they do, which is closing, and we can help everything top of funnel.
Okay, well, is there a way that you are currently measuring the success towards this?
Yeah. So we
Like
look at
what matrix do you use?
Yeah, so there's two metrics that we look at. The first one is reply rate. So every time someone replies, it sort of means that you're successful, and how you convert that reply to an actual meeting sometimes depends on the salesperson. But we also have inbuilt mechanisms to help you with that. And the number one metric would be obviously meetings booked. So out of every 100 messages you're sending, how many actual meetings are you booked at the end of it? And I think that's the truest form of success. Like I think sometimes like open rate, I mean, it's nice, but I do think the actual meetings booked from your campaigns and the percentage is a true indication if you're actually successful or not.
Okay, then what about the matrix that you use to ensure that the company is growing as intended? Like, is it revenue, number of new customers added? What's the goal
Yeah.
in this case?
So our company North Star metric is still sorry, three things is still reply rates and being able to get more meetings booked, because if our customers are happy, we're happy. So then we really focus on making sure we have really good sales copy for our customers to use, and so when they're using it as well, they get high conversion. So that is still number one. And then number two, it is the typical SaaS metrics of how many campaigns are customers launching per week. And the third one is MRR, which is revenue. Revenue, we've probably taken a bit of a different approach. I know in Southeast Asia it's very revenue focused, but I think across the other world is how much are people using your product, and we're really trying to emphasize on people really liking the product. And my pure belief is if people like the product, then you'll end up getting more revenue, and it has shown that. So we're focusing a lot on the product right now, and we're at a point where people are referring their friends, and they're referring their friends, and we're getting referrals like every second day now, which is really cool. And we've actually had to have to do a wait list as well, because we can't manage. We have to like be very mindful of how many people we can bring on every day. So we're actually in a very good spot where a lot of people want to use us, but we're like trying to be very mindful of being able to service everyone in the right way, like in the best way possible. And so we've actually got a wait list of people waiting for us too. So I think for us, MRR is the third, but very important, definitely important, but it's number three for us. Number one is definitely the reply rate, because we want to make sure our customers are happy and get value from what we're doing.
Nice, that's great. So, what would you say is the biggest focus or priority for the company right now? Let's say for the rest of the year.
Ooh, it's tricky because I think in 3 months sprints kind of at the moment, and like what do I need to achieve per quarter? But for the year, definitely is trying to get as many customers as possible with that have fit our ICP, because I'm very like adamant. I want to make sure like we get the right customers as well to get as many meetings booked as possible. After that, we probably will. We've got a goal in mind for revenue, and I think we nearly hit it, which is good. And then we'll probably fundraise. So they're the three things that we care about. But number one is definitely building out the product and getting scale, and getting it into as many of our ICPs' hands as possible.
Okay, so I mean, you help other companies book more meetings. Then how does Fuzzy AI book more meetings for itself? How does it find more customers?
Literally, we have to dog food, so literally using our product. I use my product every day. I'm on my product every day. We use my product to do outbound. We do social selling. I probably should post more on LinkedIn. I haven't had a chance to, but everything that our product does, I try to dog food everything. And I'm a big believer on trying what works for me first before I even implement it, because I want to make sure our customers use the things that I've tested and seen results from. So yeah, I to get more customers, literally using our product, doing outbound, writing posts, also using our product for social selling. And then the third thing is we're getting a lot of referrals as well. And we're at the state where people are trying to like get past the wait list, which is really cool. Like I had one of our customers be like, hey, I know you have a wait list, but like one of my friends is keen to like come on. Can you bring them on? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's have a call. And we have a call just to make sure that they're the right target audience. And then once they are, then we'll onboard them as a customer.
Okay, sounds like there is a lot of demand for your product if people are coming out with these strategies to try and bypass the wait list.
I
So
mean, I guess so. Yeah.
interesting. So what would you say is working well for you right now, like in terms of trying to get more customers? What isn't working as well? Because Fuzzy AI has a lot of different strategies, right? There's social selling, there's also outbound.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
which is working better, which isn't working as well?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to say what's working better and not better. I think both of them are working, but it's like how you do it. So I can give you some recent examples. So for the personalization part, we're now seeing like a lot of people do personalization, and having the right level of personalization. Too much personalization also feels a bit AI like. And so we're now like toning back the level of personalization to some extent. And we've had to change, like literally, I've got a block in my calendar today to change some of the copy that we have to to suit our customers' preferences. So that's been something that's shifted in terms of like, I wouldn't say it hasn't working, but it hasn't had the same reply rate as it did like literally 2 months ago. Um, from the social selling part, like people are now, and you've probably seen this, like comment X and I'll send you a playbook. And that's been super popular. And so now our product has been able to identify those posts and be like, okay, well, if you don't feel like posting, how do you then take all of those leads and ingest it into your lead list? And so a lot of our customers are now like, if they can either do two things: write the lead magnets themselves and take that list and retarget them, and we have a tool that ingests all of that. Or the second one is, you can see, let's say Bob, who has a similar product, and you know that everyone who's liked or commented are already primed on that topic and they care about it. You can now take his link, put it into Fuzzy, and then extract every single person who's liked and commented on it and send them a campaign, because you kind of know at that point they're warm and they care about the topic. And that I've seen also that work really well for me. One of my other friends actually gave me a really good tip yesterday, where she was like, well, who are your not competitors, but people you work with within the ecosystem that are very similar to you? Can you start approaching all of them? Because no one's really doing what I'm doing, the social selling part. And can you re-engage pull those lists and then be like, hey, I see that now you've set up with like Zoom in for Apollo. We're the next bit where we need to help you with social selling. Check out our platform. And that could be a really good way in. So that was a really cool trick that one of my friends like gave me an idea of yesterday as well. So that's worked also really well, being able to find warm contacts, because people have already commented and you know that they're warm as well, and they're really interested in it because they're commenting on it on LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like you've had an incredible journey so far at Fuzzy AI, and then you mentioned some of the North Star metrics that you track is also like getting more meetings booked for your customers and getting the overall reply rates up for them. You also mentioned some of the more traditional SaaS metrics like MRR. So what would you say is the biggest challenges for you right now to grow Fuzzy AI to where you want it to be?
Yeah. I think I don't want to say like, I can say time, but I feel like time's such a non-answer. I think if we really want to scale it, I think we will fundraise soon as well, so we can hire more people who are more skilled at like automation and building like really precise agents. I think they're probably the main two, but yeah, I think that would probably help us. But I need to set up processes before I even hire. So I think it's like the whole like, I need to put in time to be able to do that. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, it comes back to time. They're probably the biggest blockers. But um, one of my mentors was like, you just need to write the playbooks down so that you can train people, so that people can do the same thing that you do at scale. And it's probably, I'm my biggest blocker. Um, and then the other thing that I have seen actually is sales cycles are getting slower. So what I mean by that is everyone's like tightening their budget, and so I have seen like, instead of previously, like even like 2 months ago, what took me to get to close was a few weeks. Sorry, a week maybe. Now it's taking like a few weeks, so it is taking a bit longer compared to before as well. But I think that's completely understandable. So that's probably one of the things that have made us grow slower. But I think it's more like education and being able to show the value of what we've been able to do, and also like show how much, if you were to use Fuzzy, like how much it would increase your productivity. And I think it's just more sharing that within the company. I think that would be the other one. So yeah, a combination of
Okay,
people and
interesting. So
and time.
yeah, I think you mentioned two things that sort of caught my interest. You said that the sales cycle are getting longer, and then you also wanted to educate more of the market, I guess, as to the value of your product with, maybe things like case studies. So how would you say you are overcoming these challenges right now?
Honestly, just creating content. I think the best way is creating content, because last week, not even before, last week I did like one-on-one demos, and I'm not scalable myself. So as people are wanting to share my product throughout the company, I'm not sure if this works just yet, by the way, so I will let you know what the statistics are for this. But creating videos, and creating videos that are hitting all the pain points, so that I can just send that across. Being able to create content that really speaks to the value proposition and how it really help the customers is probably a, a way to help you with education across the business, because what you tell one person might not be conveyed to everyone else. And so you want to make sure that you have that same value proposition or that same key message that is spread across the business as well.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So you touched on a couple of like key challenges and pain points at this point. So, but hypothetically, if you had like a magic wand to fix one thing in the business right now that is either holding you back or slowing you down your progress to get to your goals, what would that one thing be?
I want to meet someone who's similar to me and hire them. If I could find another, if I had a magic wand, I'd find someone who's like very similar to me, and hire them and just help me do what I do. I think I just need like and scale that. And I think it's every founder's got such a particular way of how they work and how they need things done. And so yeah, definitely if I could find someone who's like very similar to me and has same background and similar skill set, I think that would be like the world.
Interesting. Would you also prefer someone that like, has like complementary skill sets to sort of cover up your weaknesses and then
I already have my
instead of someone that's too similar to you?
I already have my co-founder for that.
Oh, I see.
Co-founder is that. I think for me, it's just I know what to do. I need to do it. I need to do it, like a whole list of things, and I need people to help me to do it, and they need to think the way I think to be able to do it. I think for complementary, I already have my co-founder, and my co-founder challenges me on things that I don't think about. Um, yeah, and I think the other one would be probably I've already got advisors who challenge me on a different scale. I don't really need another team member to challenge me because I think then there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and I'm quite I would say I have quite a good product sense and intuition of where things are going. Yeah, I think sometimes it's not as productive having too many chefs in the kitchen.
I see. Then which aspect of you would you say, yeah, most, I guess, would have the highest leverage if you double it down on? Because you focus on many different aspects, right? Like product, sales, marketing. So if you could replicate one aspect, which one would that be?
I'll say sales. If someone can do sales, because I do a mixture of I'd say sales and consulting. So understanding like exactly what the customers need to be able to build really high converting copy and messaging and all that, and being able to convert that. And I'm actually building something myself to be able to help customers with it. But I'll definitely say like sales would be that. Actually, the other thing that I would probably need help with if this people do watch this podcast is I think marketing I am doing. I probably would need help marketing. That's like something that I'm lacking and probably my co-founder doesn't have. So I'm doing okay at it, but I always would love people who are even better than me at it. So would always love for people who are really good and meet those sort of people too.
Interesting. Which aspect of marketing though? Is it more of the outbound aspect or is it more of the thought leadership, making content online?
Yeah, making content online because I think outbound we're pretty good at. I think it's more making content online, making it more visible, seeing what messages stick. How do you position um, how what you're trying to say in an easy to digestible way, especially when a product does a lot of different things as well. So definitely the marketing where it's the positioning part.
Hmm. Okay, so let's move on to sort of the last segment here. What sort of industry trends are you seeing right now, and how has that impacted your business or growth strategy?
I think industry trend is people are spending less. People are more careful of spending. So I think the way that we've approached it is very similar to before. Is how do you get the most amount of information to customers quickly and also concisely, and how can they spread that around the organization so that they can close faster? Because a lot of the time when people sales cycles are long as half of it, yes, it's processes, but also it's education of what you do because people are like, oh, aren't you just like another B2B platform because there's so many. But then
Mm.
for us, like when you see our platform and you use it, or if you go through a demo, that's when the aha moment works for us. So we're a bit different where if you see it online, you might not see the value of us, but as soon as you see the demo or you see the product or you see what it can do, that's when the aha moment happens. So for us, it's being able to have the right level of content and the right level of information to share to different types of customers so that they can quickly be like, okay, this is actually helpful for our business or not helpful. And, we might not be helpful as well, right? But if we are helpful, then how do they latch on that and then execute on that so that they can buy the product? And I think for us, it's like having the right level of, and this comes back to marketing, right? Like, how do you have the right level of information that's not too much, so it's not hard to read, but also enough that it shows the value of your product? because like the least thing that you want is like send a bunch of PDFs. Like no one reads that.
Yeah, so all about making content that's relevant to your audience and that actually attracts the right people as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's about it actually for the podcast interview. Once again, Serena, thank you for taking the time to jump on this podcast and share this valuable insights with our audience. So if they want to find out more about your company or reach you, what would be the best way for the audience to do so?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. So Serena Lam, Fuzzy AI, or happy for you to drop a note on my website.
Okay, and your website is fuzzy.ai, is that right?
I wish. It's getfuzzy.ai.
Getfuzzy.ai.
Fuzzy.ai
Okay.
cost about 80 grand so far. I hope no one buys it.
Damn, yeah. All right. Well, once again, a pleasure having you, Serena, and chatting with you. Cheers.
Bye.